What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, there was a discussion happening in Discord, and I saw it in the Shard Holders server, or the Shard Holders channel. So obviously that's not available to everybody, but the basic gist is this. It may have been in general too. I don't know. It's hard for me to keep up with everything going on in general, but the basic gist was this. Somebody was thinking about putting forth a proposal, and I forgot who it was, and there were a lot of people discussing it. That's why it's difficult to pinpoint who it was, but there were several people discussing the idea of having a waiver for the Wild Season Pass if you owned an arbitrary number of SPS, right? I think the number being thrown out was about 200,000 SPS, which at this point in time, you know, with SPS at half a penny, that's still $1,000. And, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor or whatever, $1,000 is $1,000, right? That's not an insignificant amount of money to have. And so what you would essentially gain as a benefit, right, and I think they were thinking about putting this as a proposal to the team, is if you have 200,000 SPS or more, you would not have to pay the 2,000 DEC fee for the Wild Pass, right? It's something like you would essentially get it for free as a benefit of staking that much SPS. Now, hear me out. I like this idea, and I'm actually going to go into the math on it real quick just to show you why I think it's actually not a terrible idea, but I'll get into why I probably wouldn't vote for it right now at the end of the video. So just looking at where we're at, right? You take the 200,000 SPS, right? 200,000 SPS is what it would be. If you look at how much SPS is actually out there, right? Let me reframe that. Let's look at it this way. There's 3,000 daily active accounts that are playing, or 3,000 accounts that sign up for the Wild Season Pass right now. You multiply 3,000 times the 2,000 or 200,000 SPS that would be required, and that gets you roughly 600 million SPS, right? That would be staked and be part of that. That is almost three-fourths of all the total SPS that is currently staked, 834 million, right? Now, where this gets interesting, because obviously there would still be some carryover there, where this gets interesting is actually at the maximum level, right? So if you were to take, you know, all 3 billion SPS, of which there aren't anymore, right? We've already burned over 120 million of it. But let's say you were to go all the way up to 3 billion SPS, divide that by the 200,000, you could get a maxed amount of only 15,000 players that would be able to get in for free. Now, again, 15,000 players right now sounds fantastic considering we only have 3,000 to 5,000. But if the game is successful and if we do get, you know, a massive bull run that brings a horde of new players in, 15,000 actually isn't that much, right? And when I say a horde of new players, like, I would consider it successful if this team is able to bring in 50,000 to 100,000 new players. It sounds like that's where they're aiming. And that sounds high, but at the same time, you think about, you know, the player bases for a lot of other games out there, Web 2 or Web 3, and, you know, I mean, 100,000 is not that much, all things considered. Now, again, I'm talking about the height of the bull run. How many people stay when things, you know, start to turn bad? Let's not get into that right now, but I'm talking about the amount of people that would actually come in. So let's aim for the stars and see where we end up. The main thing with that is 15,000 is not that much. And so I actually am in favor, or would be in favor, of considering something like this as a benefit to directly staking SPS, right? I'm all for direct SPS benefits. That being said, I do not think now is the right time. And I know, right? Like, it's just like, well, what would we be waiting for? And the only thing is that there's just so much extra DEC right now. I would think that this is something that could be implemented at a later point when the game economy is in a better place. Right now, let's burn the DEC, right? Let's require, and I know it's not even that much, there's 3,000 accounts that are playing in Wild. That's 6 million DEC per season, 12 million per month. It's not that much, but it does count at this point in time. And I do think we need to start keeping these sinks open, or we need to continue to keep these sinks open for the time being. I would say once we get into a better position, and that would mean a couple of things, right? So new players coming in, SPS going higher, right? The overall ecosystem being in a better spot. The amount of SPS in circulation, meaning the amount of SPS that is not burned, right? The amount of SPS that would be burned would be increased. So the amount of SPS in circulation actually decreases. All of a sudden, SPS becomes even more desirable to hold. That's when you give it just a little bit extra utility, right? To favor and to benefit all of those who have been holding large stacks. So again, I'm not against the idea. I actually think it's quite good. I just don't think now is the right time to implement it. On top of the fact, and when it comes to timing, right? Like this is on top of the fact that the team has a bunch of other things on their plate. I know that this would be a proposal and it would be more of like a game idea rather than something that's directly affecting the DAO. So the team could, leave it at their discretion whenever and if they wanted to put it in. But I would say at this point, if we were to implement something like that, and again, I would be in favor of considering it, having a broader conversation. I just think that now is not the time. Let's revisit some of this stuff in like 6 months, early 2025. And a lot of it's going to be dependent on how well the team does, how effective they are at bringing in new players. And, maybe they are effective, maybe they aren't effective. Maybe either of those outcomes leads to us saying like, yeah, you know what, just give the benefit to SPS takers at this point. But whatever the case is, right now there's a lot of changes happening. And I just don't think that right now is the right time, even though I think it's actually a really good idea that can't, that won't be too overpowering or exploitative, right? Again, 15,000 max players, and that's with 3 billion SPS, and that means nobody else has any SPS, right? That would mean every other individual has 200,000 SPS, and it's evenly split across those 15,000 players. I think that that's fine, right? I mean, and again, we wouldn't actually even get up to 15,000 because some people are holding millions and tens of millions, right? But you get my point. You get my point with this. So that is all I have for you guys in this video. Just want to share some thoughts on it because I thought it was an interesting idea, but just the timing is not quite there. And it's one of those, let's put it on the shelf and check back in 2025 when the team actually has some capacity and resources, and hopefully we are in a better spot. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.